So with that, I will now turn over to my three market heads. We'll start with Japan. And this is about helping the zone reignite growth by innovation beyond products, by innovation through premiumization, and followed by Gane-san on Vietnam, and it's about establishing brands and building capabilities, and then followed by Darnesh Gordon on Nigeria, and it's about how PPP and getting route to market right has made Nigeria an incredibly good business for Nestlé. So with that, Kohzoh, take it away.
Thank you, Wan Lin. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, let me talk about our Nestlé Japan story of reigniting the growth by our successful innovation beyond the product and premiumization. Japan may not be the very much attractive market to invest anymore for food and beverage companies. And why that? One of the reasons is economical. And no GDP growth for more than 20 years and long-time deflation. And secondly, a declining and aging population, and which means the number of stomach is decreasing and size of the stomach is shrinking. When I took over the market head of Japan 5.5 years ago, we have declared the new role of the Nestlé Japan within the group, which is showing up the sustainable, profitable growth model for the aging and shrinking developed market. Since then, we have successfully turned around the business to grow with 3.5% per annum. This growth rate is higher than the average of the developed market within the group, as well as that of local companies. What is more impressive in our achievements is the margin improvements. We have increased our profit by 44% in the past 5 years. This profit level in Japan is several times higher than that of local companies. How did we make it happen? Generally, in Nestlé, we had very careful look at the new reality on the market. And this new reality brought us the changing new consumer problems which we have to solve through our innovation and renovation. This is how we identify the so-called consumer insight. In the case of Japan, regardless of the declining population, the number of the household has been dramatically increasing from 35 million to 55 million in the past 30 years. Already, more than half of the household is single or couple because of the downsizing family. And this demographic change has hugely impacted the way of consumption. For example, housewives have less and less cooking, and more prepared meal is appreciated, and more often people go out to eat. What are the new reality of coffee consumption in Japan? One is shifting from the family consumption to individual, and another one is also shifting from in-home consumption to out-of-home. Then we have identified the following consumer problems to fix. Then I will explain one by one. So just please imagine you are preparing for one single cup of Nescafé soluble coffee. Then you have to boil up the small amount of water every time. You may unconsciously feel it inconvenient, don't you? Even as the roasted ground coffee as well, in Japan, the majority of coffee system for roasted ground is still dripping coffee maker, which is very convenient to prepare for several cups at the same time, but not necessary for one single cup. Therefore, we have launched the single-serve coffee systems for both soluble coffee and roast and ground. And that is Nescafé Barista for pure soluble coffee and Nescafé Dolce Gusto for roast and ground. We have already sold 3.5 million of barista machine and 1.5 million of Nescafé Dolce Gusto in the past 5 years. By the way, these machines are closed system, therefore, we could successfully materialize the premiumization of Nescafé, even under the very much deflationary environment. Now, 60% of total out-of-home coffee consumption is in Japan, actually in the office. And we have identified consumers' problems in the office coffee consumption, that is to say, no availability of good quality of coffee with a very affordable price. Why that? Currently, the main choice of the coffee in the office is the canned liquid coffee through the vending machine in the office, or go out to buy coffee at convenience stores nearby, of which both cost is roughly $1.50. Therefore, we have developed very unique B2C subscription business model through the e-commerce to serve the Nescafé with barista machine with a very much affordable price, let's say 20-30 cents per cup in the office. That is, we call it Nescafé Ambassador business model. Let me show you 2.5 minutes to explain in more details.
In autumn 2012, we began our Nescafé Ambassador program to spread smiles around Japan's workplaces. At present, there are approximately 6 million offices in Japan, in which almost 60 million people are employed. Among those smaller offices where 20 employees or less work, many don't have vending machines installed. The employees make their own coffee or perhaps go out and buy coffee from nearby cafes. In recent years, in the face of widespread cost-cutting measures, there has been a tendency to withdraw coffee vending machines and to remove smoking rooms and break rooms. In this way, communication spaces within the office are slowly being eroded. It was against this backdrop that we decided to introduce the Nescafé Ambassador program. This is a program whereby registered office employees get free use of Nescafé coffee machines, while coffee cartridges and other essentials are purchased by subscription at the Nestlé online shop. Those signed up to the Nescafé Ambassador program can enjoy various flavors of high-quality coffee for only 30 yen per cup. This fee is collected from each office employee and used to pay for the next coffee machine cartridge. As people gather around the machine, conversation grows and smiles spread throughout the workplace. Just over 3 years since its introduction, the Nescafé Ambassador program has seen more than 250,000 applications. In all types of offices throughout Japan, ambassadors are spreading. The primary cause for its popularity is the revitalization of communities that the scheme fosters.
ランチの後にみんなでコーヒーを飲む機会が増えましたね。
仕事にメリハリができて、みんなの会話も増えたところですね。
The spread of Nescafé ambassadors has not been limited to the standard office environment. At present, various types of workplace are taking notice and signing up. One cup of coffee makes the conversation flow. The Nescafé Ambassador program will continue to reinvigorate communities across Japan. We will go on refining our services, establishing new values, and creating ever more ambassadors.
So now we have more than 250,000 ambassadors through Japan and serving 205 million at least people every day. We already served 1 billion cups of Nescafé last year. Every day we have the new recruitment of the ambassador, 200 to 300 through our networks. What about the other new reality on the market? Let me talk about price polarization. Interestingly, one same shopper goes to 100 yen shop, $1 shop, and Louis Vuitton boutiques. And that's reality. Even in the category of the confectionery, people are willing to pay very premium price for chocolatier brands like Piero Marcolini, but not necessary for national brands like KitKat. Why is that? It is because national brand has no craftsmanship like which the other chocolatier brand has. But how can we develop the craftsmanship to world's largest chocolate brand, KitKat? Then we have come up with the idea to collaborate with one of the top local chocolatier, Mr. Takagi. And as a test, we have just opened one so-called KitKat chocolatier shop in one of the most luxury department stores in Tokyo. Surprisingly, without much advertisement, we saw the 1 hour queuing from their first opening day. And this chocolately item recipe is designed by Mr. Takagi, the chef. And even though the products are produced in our KitKat factory, but most of the shoppers strongly believe in its craftsmanship because of the chocolatier brand name, to pay 20 times more premium price than regular KitKat bar. He finally opened 8 shops in the 6 largest cities in Japan, which generated 20 million Swiss francs of the sales.
KitKat Chocolaterie first launched in 2014 with a new concept of super premium KitKat in department stores, infused with craftsmanship of a famous pâtissier in Japan. Successful opening of the first chocolaterie store in Tokyo was welcomed by eager consumers who lined up in long queues to taste the widely talked about premium KitKat. To respond to the enthusiastic demands from the KitKat lovers, Nestlé has decided to launch a new e-commerce site where people no longer had to wait in line. In 2016, innovation for KitKat Chocolaterie continues with new distinguishing products while serving customers with new break moments.
So as the video said that it's not the end of the story, we have just opened the KitKat Chocolaterie e-commerce site in order to maximize the product availability. We are very confident to make the 10 times more sales of this chocolaterie item through this e-commerce channel. 20th century is the history where various kind of the consumer problems have been solved by product. But in the 21st century, the remaining consumer problems cannot be so easily solved by only products. It is proven that many of the developed markets are already suffering the very stagnant product sales since late 20th century. Big innovation coming from the Silicon Valley in the 21st century, such as Apple, Google, and even the Uber and Airbnb. That's all the consumer problem solutions by internet and new business model. Today is our example of the innovation for Nescafé and KitKat as well. But this is not the end of the innovation in Japan. Still further innovation and renovation to come in the next second half. And let me show you some. One is the matcha green tea capsule for Nescafé Dolce Gusto. And you know, matcha green tea is very much different from regular brewed green tea. And you may know the Japanese traditional tea ceremony because it's very hard to prepare without very skillful stirring for a long time. So people love matcha, but they don't make it at home because of that difficulty. We found that Nescafé Dolce Gusto could solve this local consumer problem by its pressurized brewing system. We have already regionally tested. Surprisingly, this matcha capsule sales is 5 times more than best-selling item, coffee item, Lungo. Finally, we have the big vision to connect our several millions of the coffee machine system on the market by IoT for the future. And you can imagine the aging single household already have the health risk. One day, if they have the heart attack at home, nobody can help. In order to solve this problem, we are soon launching the new barista machine with internet tips inside. Every morning, the old person living alone pushes the button of this machine. The signals goes to the mobile phone of their kids, daughter or son, living separately, to know, oh, my dad or mom is still fine. But this is interesting. It has nothing to do with the problem of the product, quality, and taste. But our huge penetration of the machine system can solve one of the most important and serious problems in the aging society. In summary, we identify the new changing consumer problems brought by new reality on the market. Then we're going to solve these problems by innovation beyond the product with digital and new business model. And this innovation beyond the product can lead easily the premiumization without simple price war. And thank you very much for your attention.